So then what'd you think about Logan Paul at the 9 o'clock hour?
I think he's great.
Again, this guy, and whether you, I'm sure that I would hate him as a person to just hang around with, be around, talk to. We would have nothing in common and he would probably drive me out of my mind. But as a natural pro wrestling talent, as somebody who gets the not only the verbal part of it, but the psychological part of you're stirring people up, but how to keep himself over or important or not to just say ridiculously stupid, out of place things, and to have the kind of matches that he's having, even where some of his obviously he doesn't have the fluidity of a guy who's done this day after day, week after week for several years. He's fucking natural. And he's another mega star at this point in time, what's considered a star these days in the wrestling business, that they've got, tied up. It's amazing. And he's the U.S. champion. And he said, the more that you people hope I fail, the harder I work. And I just wrote, he's got all kinds of energy. He's got the personality. He's got a gift of bullshit. He said he's the fastest rising star in WWE history. And then, of course, he gives us the bad news. They're having a tournament too. But do you think they're just doing this because they're like, all right, you fucking moron over there. If you want to we'll show you how to have a tournament people will understand and we will make something business-wise out of it. Do you think that's it, or is this complete coincidence?
They should use that. They should have next week Logan Paul comes out there and goes, here's the tournament. I've devised a point system. And then you could have Aldis come out and say, we're not doing a point system, single elimination. What do you think this is?
Well, he announced the tournament, but I'm not particularly looking forward to it because the people in the tournament to determine his next challenger for the U.S. title are Escobar, Dragon Lee, Karrion Kross. I forgot he was a thing.
When he said his name, I was like, oh my God, I forgot about him. And then I couldn't find him in the graphic because I forgot he had the hair. It took like 2 different times that I'm showing the graphic for me to find him.
You thought he was the NXT silhouette wearing blackface.
I wasn't sure who he was in there, no.
And Lashley and Grayson Waller and Austin Theory and Kevin Owens. I mean, I get Cross is in there. Somebody's got to lose. Whoever from NXT.
Well,
hold on a second. Go ahead then. Jump in.
Would you use this as a chance to elevate someone from NXT, or because it's against Logan Paul as opposed to like a Randy Orton, someone who knows how to maneuver himself after a lifetime in the ring?
Yes and no. That's no, this would not be the place to bring Braun Breaker up, right?
Right.
Unless then he was going to just mow Logan Paul down and win the whole goddamn thing. I don't think they're going in that direction. It looks like, see, here's the thing, Dragon Lee and Karrion Kross and somebody from NXT who may get a break, but that's for people I would think to lose in this tournament. You've got Owens fixed to come out and interact with these yahoos, Waller and Theory, and Escobar and Dragon Lee. There's a way, I think it's probably just a little, and Lashley, there's poor Lashley. We're not going to see Lashley and Logan Paul, I don't think. So maybe somebody from NXT fucking ends up getting in a program with, oh my God, this is a mess, actually. It's got to be Owens. It's got to be Owens, doesn't it? Because he just comes out here. They're telling us what's going to go on. We're not going to be surprised by this.
Owens versus Logan Paul. That's interesting. Well,
looky here. And I don't think they did it just because it was Waller and Owens. They announce a tournament, and then Owens comes out, his music plays. And by the way, somebody compare what Kevin Owens looks like in 2023 to what he looked like in 2012. He's 11 years older, but he's lighter. He's trimmed his hair. He's trimmed his beard. He's cleaned up his gear. everything that he hates me to this day for telling him to do and threatening to get it put in his contract, he'd do it until they couldn't figure out how to write it, that he wouldn't do and refused to do and never did, he's done. My hat's off to you. But Owens said, you in my ring is a nightmare, an unbearable jackass with a crap drink. And he vowed to win the tournament and the title. And they stood there and talked back and forth to each other in WWE style until the music plays and Waller and Theory come out. But what I'm thinking is, there's Owens is the odd guy in here besides Lashley, and I don't think that Lashley we're gonna see him against Logan Paul. That Escobar and Dragon Lee are in a program, Waller and Theory are in a tag team, unfortunately, thing, and maybe Cross and the NXT guy that gets NXT guy a win, whatever. But it seems like it's Owens from the candidates, and for the U.S. title, at least Owens has some stature in the community. But nevertheless, Waller and Theory come out, and there again is Waller, dressed in that lime green lame bullshit. And Theory's got has anybody sunk faster than Theory? The one bad thing about Vince McMahon being banished to billionaire land off of creative is poor Theory just looks like a sap now, alongside King Sap.
They say that they like them together as a team, that actually it was a temporary thing, and now WWE's happy with how they are interacting with each other and getting over or doing things with each other, I guess.
Oh, good Lord. Well, then that means we're doomed. We'll never see Theory in a serious light again. And Owens punched Theory and knocked him out of the ring with one punch, and Waller went to get him. They beat Theory in all the matches. They knock him out. Waller gets all the interview time. And Owens and Logan Paul stared at each other after the two heels had been dispatched by one punch from Kevin Owens, and he turned his back on them while they were still at ringside and stared at Logan Paul. And he went to the break, and then we come back with Waller and Owens in a match. But I think it's got to be Owens and Logan Paul. I think they're telling us. Shouldn't we believe them?
I mean, you would think so, unless NXT is used, that NXT blind spot is used to do something. But would you
silhouette? Actually, no. That's again. They've been hiding this guy, but they've been training him in secret. He dresses in all black with no eye holes in the mask, and they call him Silhouette.
If you were going to bring up a Braun Breaker and do something to get him on the main roster, would you do it this time of year? Would you do it December?
Well, no, but I wouldn't also do it in a tournament, as you said, to wrestle a guy who's a big star but is not an experienced professional. I think that, and I think that it would. I don't just think they'd bring Braun Breaker in blind after he's been on NXT television for that long and people have seen him. I don't think they'd bring him in a tournament and well, here he is. They have bigger plans for him whenever they decide to do it, I would imagine. But Waller and Owens, there was one good line from one of the announcers said Owens was inspiring, and Logan Paul said Owens inspires him to go to McDonald's. But anyway, the finish of this thing, because I'm not going to watch Grayson Waller work, is that he stuck Owens's hand in between the turnbuckle and the turnbuckle pad and then left it there to back up like Owens couldn't pull it out. And Owens is keeping it in there. And then when Grayson Waller goes to kick the pad with the hand in it, Owens pulls it out like he's fucking pulling his Excalibur out of the fucking stone and schoolboys him 1, 2, 3 and rolls out. And that was the resolution of that match. I ain't kidding. So that's why I'm saying star power is what we're selling here, folks.